The truth about why she doesn't value you. Every man gets this wrong. You text her paragraphs and she replies with 3 words. You're always available when she calls, but she takes hours to respond. You're planning your future together while she's still deciding if she even likes you. And then you sit there wondering why she doesn't value you, why she takes you for granted, why she treats you like an option instead of a priority. Let me break something down that has changed everything for thousands of men I've coached. You can't make someone value you by begging for it. The only way to make someone value you is to become valuable. And the only way to make them fear losing you is to show them you're perfectly fine without them. Here's the core principle most men never grasp: reciprocal communication dynamics. You mirror the energy you receive. You don't exceed it. If she takes 3 hours to text back, you take 3 hours. If she sends one-line messages, you do the same. If she cancels plans, you become a little less available next time. This isn't manipulation, it's calibration, reading her actual level of interest and matching it. Because when you overinvest, when you give more than what's reciprocated, you teach her that she doesn't have to earn your effort. I had a client once who was writing novels over text every single day. Long, thoughtful, emotional paragraphs. Her responses? LOL. Yeah. Maybe. He couldn't understand why she was drifting away. I told him one thing: match her energy, short replies, take your time, focus on your life. Within 2 weeks, she was asking what was wrong. She started calling more, wanted to see him again. Why? Because he stopped overgiving. Attraction is an emotional rhythm. You can't play the song right if you're offbeat. If she calls once a week, call once a week. If she wants to see you twice a month, that's your rhythm. It's not punishment, it's balance. You're not mirroring to manipulate, you're matching reality. The biggest mistake men make is projecting their excitement onto a woman who isn't nearly as invested. You meet someone and your mind's already at the wedding, while she's just figuring out if she wants another date. That imbalance kills attraction every time, because no one values what's too easy. No one fears losing what's always clinging to them. The balance of power in relationships isn't about control, it's about equilibrium. If you're the one giving 100% while she's giving 40%, she won't feel lucky to have you. She'll feel burdened. That's the paradox. If someone's giving you everything without asking for anything, you don't respect them more, you take them for granted. I had another client living this exact story. His girlfriend canceled dates, came late, barely engaged in conversations, and he still kept showing up, still being understanding, still giving 100%. One day, I told him, stop. Mirror her energy. He canceled a date himself, showed up late once, kept his texts short and calm. And suddenly, she was asking if he was losing interest. She wanted to fix things. She brought up therapy. See what happened? When he stopped chasing, she started investing. Because attraction is reinforcement. When you're slightly less available than she expects, her brain flags you as valuable. When you end the conversation first, she's left wanting more. When you have a real life, hobbies, purpose, goals, she realizes she needs to compete for your attention. This isn't manipulation. This is how human psychology works. Here's what avoiding neediness looks like in real life. She says she's not ready for something serious. You say, perfect. I'm not rushing either. She wants to take things slow. I was thinking the same thing. She's dating other people. Cool. I'm keeping my options open too. Never be more committed than she is. Never push for more than she's offering. Let her lead the pace of escalation. Because here's the truth. The moment a man starts chasing clarity from a woman who's unsure, he loses his power. 3 dates in and he's asking, where is this going? 2 weeks of texting and he's pushing for exclusivity. That pressure, it kills attraction instantly. Women need to feel like commitment was their idea, that they won you, that they earned you, that they chose you, and you chose back. The moment she senses you're trying to lock her down out of fear of losing her, the game is already over. The power of strategic withdrawal. One of the most powerful principles in attraction is what I call strategic withdrawal. It's the art of leaving first, while the energy is still high. Ending the call before she does, leaving the date while it's still fun, finishing the conversation before it starts to fade. Most men don't get this. They stay too long. They text too much. They talk until there's nothing left to say, and when the energy drops, so does the attraction. Here's why it matters. The human brain is wired for what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished experiences stay in your mind longer. When she hangs up smiling but wishing the call lasted just a bit longer, you live rent-free in her head. I had a client who used to talk to his girlfriend for hours every night. She'd literally fall asleep on the phone while he was still talking. He thought it was romantic, but she got bored. I told him, end every call 10 minutes earlier than you want to. Within weeks, she was calling him more, asking to hang out longer, and actually missing him when he wasn't around. He stopped chasing her attention, and she started chasing his presence. That's how scarcity works. It's not about pretending to be busy, it's about being busy. When your time is truly limited because your life is full, your presence carries weight. See, fake scarcity, the kind where you ignore her on purpose, that's manipulation. But authentic scarcity, when your schedule is filled with purpose, that's value. You don't need to play games when your reality already makes you selective. Your priorities, your training, your projects, they create natural boundaries. When you say, hey, I'd love to see you, but Thursday I've got training, that's not a tactic. That's reality. And that reality makes her respect your time. This is where most men fail. They build their entire schedule around her availability. They drop everything the second she texts. They make her the center of their world. And then they wonder why she stops appreciating them. You want to make her value you? Live a life that doesn't revolve around her. Because the man who is always available loses mystery. He loses power. He becomes predictable, and predictable is unattractive. Let me make something clear. This isn't about being cold. This is about being balanced. You can love her. You can care. But you never stop being you. And that's where self-discipline comes in. Every instinct inside you will scream to text her back right now, to pick up that call immediately, to clear your schedule just to see her. But discipline is doing what's right for you, not what your emotions crave in the moment. Because when you act from emotion, you chase. When you act from logic, you attract. Here's the truth that most men don't want to hear. The moment you can walk away, calmly, confidently, without threat, is the moment she starts chasing. Not because you're trying to make her, but because she feels it. When a man no longer needs her validation, when he's fine on his own, when he's genuinely fulfilled without her, that's when he becomes magnetic. People always want what they might lose, not what they're guaranteed to keep. That's why your time, your focus, your productivity are your greatest tools of attraction. When you spend your weekends building something, a business, a body, a new skill, your time gains weight. When she wants to meet and you say, I can do Thursday or Sunday, whichever works, it communicates value. Because your time has structure, and structure signals purpose, and purpose is irresistible. I watched a client transform his entire relationship simply by changing his routine. He stopped being constantly available, started hitting the gym, joined a martial arts class, launched a small side business. His life began to move forward, with or without her. And you know what happened? She started planning dates weeks in advance just to see him. She stopped canceling. She started respecting his time, because his time finally meant something. You can't fake being valuable. You have to become valuable. That means building a life so rich and full that adding someone to it is a privilege, not a necessity. When you do that, you never have to manipulate, never have to beg, never have to pretend. Because your reality already speaks louder than your words ever could. The abundance mindset and emotional independence. There's one mistake that destroys more men than anything else: emotional overinvestment. When you make a woman your entire world, you lose your balance, and once your world starts spinning around her, she eventually walks away, because no one wants to carry that kind of weight. I see this all the time. A man meets a woman, she brings color into his world, and suddenly he forgets the world existed before her. He stops seeing friends. He skips the gym. He loses focus at work. And then one day, he's standing there wondering why she's slipping away. It's simple. She fell for the man who had a life, not the man who gave it up for her. When you abandon your purpose, your hobbies, your grind, You destroy the very energy that attracted her in the first place. She fell for your momentum, your confidence, your direction. When that disappears, so does her desire. So understand this. She should enhance your life, not become it. She's the addition, not the foundation. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're looking for someone who can complement your mission. Your emotional state has to come from something bigger than her attention. Your victories, your progress, your discipline. When those things are solid, you're unshakable. And that stability is exactly what women find attractive. Because when your emotions depend on her mood, you're no longer her partner. You're her responsibility. And no one wants to babysit your happiness. I had a client who went through this cycle 3 times. Every new relationship looked the same. He'd meet a girl, get obsessed, make her the center of his world, and 6 months later, she'd lose interest. He thought women didn't want commitment. The truth was, they didn't want a man who lost himself every time he committed. So I gave him one rule. No matter who you date, your life doesn't stop. The gym stays consistent. The friendships stay strong. The career stays your focus. 2 years later, he's still with the same woman. Not because he chased her, but because he never stopped being the man she fell for. You have to understand something fundamental about masculine psychology. Men need a mission, something they're building, something they're improving, a purpose that pulls them forward. When your only mission becomes make her happy, you lose your fire. You lose your edge, you become soft, uncertain, ungrounded, and that's when she starts pulling away. So I ask every man this question. If she left tomorrow, what would you do with your time? If you don't have an answer, you've already lost your direction. You need goals, projects, challenges that have nothing to do with her. A business, a skill, a cause, a physical pursuit, something that gives your life weight. Because a man who has purpose doesn't beg for attention. He earns respect, and this is where the abundance mindset comes in. When you know you have value, you stop chasing validation. When you know you have options, you stop tolerating disrespect. When you know your worth, you stop underselling yourself just to be chosen. Abundance doesn't mean sleeping around. It means understanding that there are billions of people on this planet, and one person's approval doesn't define your value. If you want to train your brain to think abundantly, here's the exercise I give every client. Go out, meet people, talk to multiple women. Not to play games, but to remember that you can. When you have options, you stop over-investing in anyone too early. You respond when convenient. You keep perspective. You move with confidence. And ironically, that's when women start pursuing you. Because nothing is more attractive than a man who isn't desperate for attention. Your independence is your leverage. The moment you can say, I want her, but I don't need her, is the moment you regain your power. She senses it. It's not arrogance. It's calm strength. It's quiet confidence. That's the energy of a man who's complete on his own. And that's the kind of man everyone wants to be around. So remember this. You don't become desirable by convincing her you're valuable. You become desirable by being valuable. The man who's building, the man who's focused, the man who doesn't stop moving forward. That's the man she doesn't want to lose. Frame, power, and the freedom to walk away. Here's the truth. No one wants to admit. Most men lose not because they weren't good enough, but because they lost control of the frame. The frame is everything. It's the invisible energy that decides who leads the interaction, who sets the tone, who influences who. When you lose your frame, you lose yourself. You stop responding with calm and start reacting with emotion. She pulls back. You panic. She gets cold. You overcompensate. She tests you, and you start defending instead of observing. And in that moment, the dynamic flips. You stop being the man she respects and become the man she manages. Frame isn't about dominance, it's about stability. It's about being rooted in your reality no matter what storm she brings. She can be distant, moody, unpredictable, but your energy stays grounded. You don't chase calm by trying to fix her emotions. You stay calm because you've mastered your own. Most men crumble when the energy shifts. A woman withdraws and suddenly their entire self-worth is questioned. But the man who has control over himself, who doesn't need external validation, he becomes magnetic. Because women test, not out of cruelty, but to feel the depth of your strength, to see if your calm is real or just a mask you wear when things are easy. When she challenges you and you hold your ground, not with anger, not with ego, but with quiet certainty, you pass every test without even trying. You see, the highest form of attraction isn't physical. It's psychological safety. When she feels like she can't shake you off your center, when she feels your calm energy no matter what, that's when she starts trusting your masculine core. That's when she feels safe to be feminine around you. And the secret is, you can't fake it. You can't act calm. You become calm by building discipline, facing discomfort, and embracing solitude. Every time you sit alone instead of chasing noise, you're strengthening your frame. Every time you walk away from chaos instead of arguing to be understood, you're training emotional control. Every time you prioritize your mission over your impulses, you're becoming unshakable. That's what true masculinity is, calm direction in a chaotic world. You're not trying to control her, you're mastering yourself. And that mastery changes everything. Because when you're unreactive, you're unpredictable. When you're unpredictable, you're intriguing. When you're intriguing, you're unforgettable. But if she knows exactly how to get a reaction from you, you've already lost control. That's why the power to walk away is sacred. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about proving to yourself that no one controls your peace. You can love her deeply, desire her fully, but still walk away if it costs your self-respect. That kind of strength changes how you move, how you speak, how you carry yourself. You stop chasing closure. You stop begging for clarity. You stop trying to fix what was never yours to fix. You accept, detach, and elevate. Because peace is expensive, and you stop offering discounts once you know your worth. Every man eventually faces this crossroad. Will you keep chasing what disrespects your value? Or will you finally become the man who chooses himself first? The moment you choose yourself, everything changes. Your energy shifts. Your presence grows heavier. You speak less but mean more. You move slower but with intention. You stop trying to prove and start letting your silence speak for you. That's real confidence. That's masculine composure. That's the energy of a man who's seen enough to know he doesn't have to chase what's naturally meant for him. And when you reach that level, you don't fear losing anyone, because you've already found yourself. So remember this. Stay grounded in your mission, lead with calm, respect your boundaries, and never forget, your power was never in how much you could chase, but in how gracefully you could let go. Because sometimes, the most powerful move you'll ever make is to simply walk away, quietly, calmly, and free.